Sarah Ranchler, and I recently changed my legal name to Juniper Lear, so you may get emails from June Lear as well. But I am here with two very special guests to talk about my DTM project, which merges two of my favorite things, Toastmasters and Tableau. I'd love to introduce Ed Cullen, IPDD from District 57 and Distinguished Toastmaster. Ed, please say hello.
Hello, everyone.
And then we also have Karen Lezon, who's our Pathways Committee Chair here in District 2. Welcome, Karen. Thank you so much for being here.
So glad to be here. Hello, everyone.
Awesome. Well, you may be wondering what this DTM project is all about. So this is what we're going to talk about today. First of all, you may be unfamiliar with one or the other of my passions, Toastmasters and Tableau, so I'll tell you all about what they are and how they are the perfect marriage of data and leadership discovery. I will also go through some use cases to give you some inspiration on how you might want to use this. And then Ed will come on and tell you how you can get it at a nonprofit rate, because Tableau is not cheap. The normal price for Tableau is $99 a month for the subscription for Tableau Desktop. Then we will bring Karen on and she will talk to you about how you can use Tableau to leverage your pathways data and understand how your district is achieving levels or not. And then we will conclude, and I will thank all of the people who helped make this project possible, who could not be here today filming, but they were all critical to our success. So what is Tableau? Well, Tableau is a software, and when I open it up, it looks like this. I have abilities to connect to different data sources, and then you can see all the different ways I've been using Tableau to create visualizations. Each one of these tiles is a different visualization based on a different data set that I have worked on independently. So we have Tableau, which is a data visualization software. And then we have Toastmasters, which is an organization about improving your communication and leadership skills. Tableau's mission is to help users see and understand your data. And you could almost replace see with communicate your data, because when you are a district leader like I am, it is so important to see and understand your district data and know about what your members, your clubs, your areas are achieving. Toastmasters does provide a lot of visualization already in the form of the dashboard. Let me show you a little bit about how I use Toastmasters and the inspiration for this project. Because there are visualizations already on the Toastmasters website, and there's a supplemental additional reports visualizations that we all use, the goal of this project was to not replace those, but to create a different way you may look at the data and potentially improve that. But to show you the inspiration, I have to show you some visualizations. Let me pull that up. This project was inspired by this visualization about clubs in District 2. And this was originally created by Mark Ashton, who's a developer at Tableau Software today. And it is actually pretty valuable because our new members or people that are seeking a club can come and find their clubs based on different slices of the data. For example, if you know you can only meet at Tuesday at 8 a.m., you can click that and then it'll show you all the clubs in District 2 that meet at 8 a.m. on different days. Then you can hover over each club and contact that club if you're interested in it. We've added a lot of tabs to this, as you can see. So I mainly use these other tabs as a district leader, like the area tab, so that I can see which clubs are in which area or division. So these are all our Division A clubs. So an area director perhaps could come here, or a division director, to monitor their clubs, make sure the meeting information is updated, because all this information I got from Find a Club, so it's not new data, it's just a new way to look at the data. So I said we were going to improve upon this, and we did. I I think this is too much. It's too many tabs. It's overwhelming. Usually when you're a best practice for designing a visualization is to pick one thing that you're trying to give the user. Because if you try and answer too many questions in one visualization, it overwhelms your user. So instead of trying to answer all of these questions, I asked Crystal, could you make a visualization that's just about finding a club, just for new users who want to find a club? So she made this, which is really awesome. And so you can filter it and say, okay, well, I'm in Redmond. Let me click on Redmond. And then it automatically filters to all the different clubs that are in Redmond. But maybe you're only available a certain time. And a lot of our clubs are online only. So she has this button to choose a meeting time. And then you can click on a specific time and day, and that also filters the map so you can see if there's a club near you that meets at that time. Again, she didn't lose any of the data. You can hover over it, find the club contact. This makes it super easy for new members to find clubs that fit their schedules. Now, Crystal made a few other vizzes for us. As you can see, you could just click on somebody's name on Tableau Public to find the other vizzes they made. And you can tell we've gone through several iterations of this. The other viz we asked her to generate was about our distinguished club performance. And this is from last year's performance. So this takes the dashboard data and visualizes it in a different way. And the question we were trying to answer here is, if I'm a club, how do I know where I'm at on the road to distinguished? So let's find a club here. How about aspiring leaders? And look at that. Last year, aspiring leaders had 9 DCP goals, and the average in District 2 is right around 3.5. And so you can also see where they achieved these goals. And then what we can do with this year's data is map that over the top. So right after the March renewals, we can update this so they can see where they were last year, where they compare to this year. This idea is just to benefit a club. But there are so many ways that you can use Tableau. Let me just go through a few of those. As I shared earlier, this is my look of Tableau when I come in to play. And this is not the current version. This is 2023.1, so you don't need the latest and greatest. But I've used it to work on our alignment. You can visualize how clubs are aligned and then how you propose to align them to see if they geographically map out. It is amazingly helpful. Our district is also in this new D2 where District 2, 9, and 32 are all merging together in one. And so this alignment is critical to visualize. So I've been working with the alignment committee and helping them visualize these 3 districts as one. So not only they can see and understand the districts, but their committee can as well. I also use it for officer training data. It is so tedious to log officer training data, and you can make a simple visualization to input the data when you are a PQD, or maybe you're a district director who's just very nice to your PQD and wants to help them. But this way you can just go down the list of all the clubs. This is in the same order it is on the web. Like it just saves you so much time. But like I said, the possibilities are endless. And I want you to think about the ways that you can use it, not just for districts, but for clubs. So let me share here. So I showed you the officer training data. I showed you the realignment. We've also used it for incentives. So for example, if you have an incentive related to membership numbers, you can take the data from the dashboard and quickly filter it to find out who has added new members in the year and how many. You can even rank them in a top 10 to see, to create some competition, some friendly competition in your district. I just went to a club the other day and I showed them they were in the top 10 for DCPs and they only needed 1 member to qualify for distinguished. So I was there because I knew about their club from the data. And that just brought them a lot of connection with me, even though we just met that day. I will say that this project did have a struggle when we were looking at club ideas, because your club visualizations and your ability to show and answer questions is related to your data. Are you keeping data on your day-to-day meetings? If you aren't, you can start today. And it doesn't have to be fancy. An Excel database is a database to Tableau. But when we were looking at club ideas, we tried to make data based on nothing. So for example, say your club just doesn't collect data. We were using Udly to record our meetings, and we thought maybe we can use the Udly transcript to get some data. And sure enough, using ChatGPT, we were able to take the Udly transcript, put it into OpenAI, and ask it to give us like a breakdown of the counts, the timing for each speech, and table topic. So that way we could create a spreadsheet to use. I'm not recommending that every club does this. This isn't something that will work for everyone, but there is another product that Tableau has called Tableau Prep, and that can sometimes help if your data is not great to massage it before you add it to Tableau Desktop. So in addition to Tableau Desktop, you might want to get Tableau Prep too. And to find out how to do that, we're gonna invite Ed Cullen, and he's gonna tell us how the heck do we get Tableau. Welcome, Ed.
Thank you very much. Tableau is worth getting. Roll to the next slide, please. And TechSoup is your answer. If you go to TechSoup's URL, which I published here, click join for the upper right-hand corner, find Toastmasters International's EIN number, enter that, then using the drop-down, find your district. There could be problems. Someone in your district may have joined TechSoup and moved on because, of course, Toastmasters get skills and then they use those skills, and sometimes they use those skills in a way that takes them away from their home. They move, they become a bitter and better employee. So follow the prompts and enjoy the benefits. Roll to the next slide, please. So what's in it for you? Well, there are some products, there are some services, and there are some resources. And the first product you want is, of course, Tableau. We've heard that Tableau is $99 a month. For $75 a year, your nonprofit, that is your district, can have Tableau, the one we've seen, the desktop, and Tableau Prep. But that isn't the only product you could get at a discount from TechSoup. Microsoft, Adobe, Intuit, Cisco, Hootsuite, DocuSign, and many, many more. Plus, they have hardware at a discount, nonprofit discount. They have services like website improvement, IT support, migration assistance, blogs with your nonprofit peers, cybersecurity training, marketing strategies, and don't think that you don't want to think about marketing strategies. You want new members to your clubs. You want new clubs in your areas. You may want new areas in your divisions, and all of that rolls into a successful district. There's a whole lot more, but if you roll to the next slide, Tableau is $75 a year. Let me say that again. Tableau is $75 a year, and you can use it. It's a wonderful data visualization. You're going to see that in the next presentation. When I was district director, I used TM tools a lot, which is not bad, but this is even cooler, and you will see that. So you know you want Tableau, $75 a year. And once you're at DataSoup, you will find discounts on a lot of things that will be helpful to you. If you have questions, you can contact Sarah June, and I can answer those questions for you. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Ed. I almost think we should have added a third company that will benefit from this project. A third T to the mix, TechSoup. But like Ed said, our next presentation is going to show you the value of Tableau from a specific role, because everybody is answering questions that are going to benefit them within the district. So to talk about how you can benefit your Pathways data exploration, please welcome our Pathways Committee Chair, Karen Lezon.
Thank you, Sarah June. We'll try not to do that all the time. Some years ago, a few years ago, I was a Pathways guide, one of those people that introduced Pathways to members when it was first rolled out. I saw the value of Pathways immediately. The sheer variety of projects and the relevance to working people was a huge improvement over the legacy curriculum. Easy sell, I thought. Well, change is hard. And it didn't help that the software platform was not easy to navigate for some. So adoption has been slower than hoped. As you know, there are 5 levels to every path, and each path builds on the one before. But the projects in level 1 are the same for every path because those projects lay the foundation for what comes next. They are the writing, organizing, presenting fundamentals. Why do people join Toastmasters? To learn these fundamentals, at the very least. Once they get through that, many stay to sharpen their skills, become better managers and leaders, while having fun, learning something new. If members only achieve level 1, just the fundamentals, then we've done our job. But are we doing our job? Are members completing level 1? And are they doing it early on in their careers? How can we know? Well, we look at the data. We find where we are falling short, and we work to improve those areas. Now, I want to show you a data visualization that I created using Tableau. Now, I'm not an expert, and I'm still working on making improvements on this, but it was pretty easy to develop this visualization, which tells you how powerful this tool is. I wanted to see at a glance where the district stands in terms of levels completed. Now I'm using the free version of the desktop application, and it's called Tableau Public, not to be confused with the website that's called Tableau Public. I use that as well. But it's a free version of the application. And the data I use is the membership report. Now I get that, you have to get that from one of the trio, the district director or something like that. And it does contain sensitive data like names and addresses, but I hide that information, and you can too. So let me show you what I did. So this is my visualization that I created. It's my workbook on my desktop public edition. Now, the first thing I wanted to look at was what levels were achieved according to time in Toastmasters. So that's what this visualization is telling us. Now, there's a couple things I had to do first. Now, over on the left here is the data that I'm not using all of these fields, but I'm using most of them. I got rid of the ones that I definitely were not using and are sensitive. But I wanted to know the length of time somebody was in Toastmasters. So I did have to create a particular parameter for that. And it's called membership length, and it's really easy to do. And I put in the date of the report, the day the report was generated. Excuse me. And subtracted the original join date, which is a field in that report, and divided by 365, and I get the number of years. Okay, now I have the length of time that people have been in Toastmasters. Then, of course, you can't look at every single person. You want to group people. And this is how I group them. And I created groups using the length of time. And let's take a look at that real quick. So I decided to do the first 6 months. So everybody who has only been in Toastmasters for 6 months or less, then 6 months to 3 years, 3 years to 10 years, and over 10 years. The numbers look like this. This is 3 years, 0.0109, but you get the point. And you have to sort of pay attention. What 6 months is goes up to 0.5. But I made these groups because they made sense to me at the time. So that's great. I got the groups together. I'll just cancel out of there. And so here this is what I got. And of course I have all the levels in various colors. So if you look at the first 6 months, well, you know, there's 5 projects, 5 speeches that you have to give in level 1. So 6 months might be a little short depending on how often your club meets and that. So I wasn't expecting a whole lot of levels completed in 6 months. And sure enough, there wasn't. Although I have to say there's 2 members in the entire district who completed level 1 in the first 6 months. And I'll show you how we're going to find out who they are. Not who they are, but what clubs they're in, because we want to find out how that club is encouraging people to finish their levels. Now, the 6 months to 3 years, this is where I expected to see a lot of levels completed. And I'm afraid that I was kind of disappointed. Now, that's a big span, and perhaps a lot more of those people are closer to 6 months than they are to the 3 years. That's something that I will look into and expand on and change around with this because it's so easy. But this was disappointing. I expected to see more levels. Now they do have there's 5 people who got to level 5 in that period of time. But for the most part, very few people completed a level in that time span. Now 3 years to 10 years, I would expect a lot more because people have been there for a while and they're getting used to pathways and they're doing the work, and you can see there's a lot more level 5s and a lot more level completions, period. There are more that have not completed a level 1. So that's concerning. There shouldn't be that many people in this particular grouping. 10 years and on, I didn't expect to see a whole lot of people that finished levels, because these are the people that remember the legacy program, and perhaps they aren't as accepting of pathways. Now, what I'm hoping is that people have been around a long time, they would be our mentors and be an example for the newer members. And some of them are. There's a significant number of levels completed here, but there's still a lot that have not completed any levels. So this is the first visualization that I did. But let's go back to these 2 guys, these 2 people who completed their level 2. What can we find out about them? Here I have the same information, but I went ahead and I want to look at it by area. And this is great for area directors. Maybe you can at a glance see you can even see how many members that a area has. And so I'm looking down through here and, oh, look, here it is. And it's both of them is in the same area, area 21. So I thought, all right, let's break this down into clubs, because that data is also in the report that I got. So let's go down to area 21 and see who did this. And here they are, 2 different clubs. Twin Speaks, Toastmasters Club, and Willow's Voices Club. Both of those have a member that finished a level 1 in 6 months. Now it looks like Willow's Voices Club is maybe a newer club. I'm not sure. This is something that the area director would know, because it doesn't have a whole lot of people in other in the other groupings. Twin Speaks has been around for a while. And so it would be worth going to them and saying, okay, how did you get this person to finish level 1 in 6 months? Another thing I looked at is I wanted to see how the DTMs were doing. So these are people who have a DTM, either legacy DTM, which is probably most of them, or Pathways DTM. There's no way for me to distinguish in that data. But I wanted to see how they were doing with levels. And they're doing pretty good. I thought, okay, this is all right. The DTMs are doing their thing. There are some that still have not completed a level, but you can't force people to be good mentors. Perhaps they're just having a good time in their club, I suppose. But this was encouraging. This is great. Also, you'll see that over here, you can look at any of the education. So for instance, if you want to see people who still who did a CC, so they did at least 10 speeches, but they haven't completed a level yet. But that's not as interesting as just looking at the DTMs. That's what I wanted to do this for. I also just wanted to see, where it shows that there's 0 levels achieved, it doesn't tell you whether they're even enrolled in Toastmasters. So I wanted to look at that. And so here we have the green, they're enrolled, the red, they are not enrolled. So the first 6 months, well, that's okay. So it's about half. That's a little high. I would hope that those people would be enrolled pretty quickly, but that's something that we can work on. 6 months to a year, there shouldn't be anybody that hasn't enrolled. These people, all they know is Pathways. So this should be all green. 3 years to 10 years, well, there may be some people who just like the legacy program and are not interested in Pathways. Hard to tell, but it's not bad. I mean, this is pretty good. I'm liking these people in 3 years to 10 years. And then the 10 years plus also, they're not as bad as I thought it would be. This is okay, but there's still some people who are not enrolled. But that 6 months to 3 years is a little concerning that we don't have more. And of course, I can break that down again by area and club. Whoops, I didn't do the club one, but it's pretty easy. Oh, this one is club. Excuse me. Broke it down by club so you can see which clubs are not getting people on board, especially in these first 2 groups. And the last thing I did, I just wanted to look at the DTMs to see if they're mostly enrolled in Pathways, and they are. There's a few holdouts, but yeah, this is good. This is good. All right. Now there's a few caveats to this data. For instance, I simply loaded the data directly. I think I had to, it comes as a CVS file, and I made it into an Excel file, but I didn't change any of the data, and Tableau took it right in and just did a great job. And you can change it. You can load your data by using this little data source symbol here, and you can connect to something on your computer. Since I didn't change it, there's going to be duplicates, right? Some people belong to more than one club. Well, I didn't want to take those out, especially since I'm mostly looking at the first 6 months and the 6 months to 3 years. Generally, there's fewer people in those groups that would be in more than one club. Also, I didn't want to take them out because if I'm looking at areas and clubs specifically, you need to see everyone that's in those clubs in those areas. So I didn't take them out, and I really don't believe it's not that many. I don't believe it skews the data. The other caveat is, what is the other caveat? I know there's another one. Oh, it assumes that everyone is a continuous member. because I have the original join date and they're a member now. They could have been a member a long time ago and then started up again just recently. So that could be a case that I can't tell from this data. But I think in general, it's just not enough to skew the data. Wanting to get this data, seeing what we see here is what I wanted to do. Now, you too can use my work, and I'd love for you to do that. I'm going to stop sharing. And there you go. You just need to go to public.tableau.com. And under the create, there's a little create button and a learn button at the top. Under create, you can download what they call on that website the Tableau Desktop Public Edition. And it's free. That's what I used. If you have a licensed version, that's great. That's great too. But you need to have this if you want to be able to look at the visualizations I did and use your data for it. So then there's also on that website, there's a little search button. You want to search on my name, Lezon. Fortunately, not many people are named Lezon. And so you will find Karen Lezon out there. Don't search on Karen Lezon because you'll get a whole bunch of Karens. But search on Lezon. And then you'll find my latest. And so it would be called Pathways Snapshot. And the date would be just last week, actually. And you can look for the latest date. Download the workbook and put your data in. Now remember, you're going to have to change the length of time. You're going to have to change that parameter that I showed you for the length of time that a member has been in. And you will probably need to fool around with the groups. It does a fairly good job when you put new data in, but some of the data will be incorrect in those groups. So go into the grouping as well and put that data into the correct groups. I didn't show you how to do that, but it's actually pretty easy to do. You just left click and it says add to, and it shows you the groups and you say the group. And then you'll be able to play with your data and maybe come up with your own ideas. I think you can take thank you. So I want to arm the area and the division directors with information beyond the DCP report to find the strong clubs that are getting their new members up and going in Pathways so we can mine how they do it and take that information to encourage the weaker clubs. I believe the result will be members that stay longer. There'll be more participation in contests because after all, you've got to finish 2 levels to be in the International Speech Contest, and a world with better communicators and leaders. Back to you, June.
Thank you so much, Karen. She showed you so many different details about the product, how to use it, how to make different visualizations. And it can be a little overwhelming when you're first starting out. But even as someone who's used Tableau for, over 10 years, what I can say is I still Google, how do I make this thing in Tableau? Because the user community for Tableau is very similar to the Toastmasters community. They all want to help you. They want to make sure that you are empowered to use what they've done so you don't have to invent the wheel. This is why it's such a beautiful combination, these two organizations. They really do work so well together. But we couldn't do this project alone. It was a group effort, and I want to thank the people who were not on camera. You did see Crystal's visualizations though, so feel free to check those out in your free time. She is a data analyst student at the UW. Baxter Kent and Marcella Hahn are both DTMs and District 2 members who helped with the quality analysis and advised Crystal on improvements to her visualization. We also had a couple people from my club. Doug Carter and Laura Record are Tableau employees, and they helped us with the club visualization portion of the project. And then Anujo Kennan, who is our user tester. Just in conclusion, I just want to say that sharing your insights through data and having data-driven conversations empower your team, because there's no shooting from the hip. There's no arguing over the data. You can all see the same thing, and as humans, we connect when we all understand things together. So if you are a Toastmasters leader or just a excited user and you want to talk data to me, please do reach out. I love to talk about data, and I will be at the Tableau conference, TC25 in April if you want to chat with me there. But that concludes our DTM project. Thank you again, Ed and Karen, for being with me here on this journey. And good night, goodbye, good morning, and see you later.